Alrighty guys, good morning. Today we are going to be working at comparing ratios. And I always like giving this lesson because I have a food story that I kind of tell with it. And you know I love to talk about food, right? So yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So we're going to do our notes today. Make sure you have your next clean page in your notes book. And let's, at the top, go ahead and put the heading of comparing ratios. All right, and when we compare ratios, we could be doing that for a couple of reasons. One reason we might do it is to see what item is a better buy. So a lot of times it's better buy. Another way that you might say that is which one's cheaper, which one costs less. Okay, so lower cost. Another time we might want to compare ratios might be if we were traveling. And for instance, last week I went to Hershey Park with my family, and we had debated, because we just bought a new car, and we had debated, should we take our older minivan or should we take our new car? And one of the things we looked at is which one uses gas more, which one uses more gas. So you could be comparing distances or miles per gallon. That would be MPG, or distance. Or you could be comparing the rate of something. For instance, let me get the mouse off my face. You could be comparing let's say an airplane and a helicopter. Which one travels faster? So you could also be comparing speed. And there's other ways, even if I'm not listing them here. There's lots of other ways that you could use what we're doing here. I'm just trying to give you some ideas as to when this type of stuff comes up in real life, okay? All right, so you know we're comparing ratios, and so here's my food situation, okay? This is a true story. I love chips and salsa. Okay, all my students last year made fun of the way I say salsa. They all say you're supposed to say salsa, but I say salsa. Okay, so I love chips and salsa. And it's one of my favorite snacks. And I like homemade salsa. I like store-bought salsa. I mean, I don't care. I just love chips and salsa. So, sometimes I do make my own salsa. But if I don't, then I use some store-bought salsa. But here's the thing. I can't always find the spicy hot one. And I like really spicy salsa. I like it spicy, like hot. Okay? So, but there's a problem because my husband does not necessarily like it that hot. Okay? He's not as spicy as I am. And so a lot of times I have to make different bowls. So I'll make one bowl for him and one bowl for me because I like mine a lot hotter and I don't want his tongue to burn. So so that's where I'm getting this example from today. It's from my own love of salsa or salsa. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to compare two different bowls of salsa, okay? Or salsa. You know I get all giddy and happy when I talk about food. Sorry. All right, so here we go. Salsa. Okay. In one recipe, or one bowl, bowl one, in bowl one, for hot sauce, And for salsa. For hot sauce, I use, and you guys know I say this all the time, I am not the best artist. So bear with me and just, go with it. Pretend like I'm a good artist, okay? Let me try turning on the light on my camera because I feel like it might be a little dark on the notes today. Usually it's a little brighter in my room. That might be better today, okay? All right, so, again, not a great artist, but these are tablespoons, okay? So in the first bowl, I'm going to put 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons, and 5 tablespoons. Sort of look like tablespoons, right? Maybe not. Okay. Anyhow, all right. And for the salsa, I'm going to put 1 cup, 2 cup. Let's put a handle on there so we know it's a cup. Maybe. And 3 cups of salsa. Okay, so this is the first bowl. And now I'm going to do bowl number 2. Okay. So for bowl number 2, again, we have hot sauce, and I'm going to put a line just down the middle so we can make sure we know where it separates. Hot sauce and salsa. Okay, hot sauce. We've got 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons, 5 tablespoons, 6 tablespoons, 7 tablespoons of hot sauce. Okay, but this time we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 cups of salsa. Okay, so now here is my question. Which bowl is hotter? In other words, which bowl is Mrs. Rodriguez gonna want to eat? Okay, so we're gonna have to solve this now, right? Okay, so we have our 2 bowls and now we need to solve it. Well, how do I solve it? Well, what have we been doing basically for the last whole week? We've been talking about ratio tables, right? So we're going to do ratio tables for this, and we're going to set up 2 ratio tables. So for bowl 1, we are going to put hot sauce and salsa on the bottom. And remember, when we have 2 different measurements, we're supposed to put them into our table, right? So this was tablespoons and this was cups. Okay. And if we want to find out which one's hotter, we have to figure out what our starting ratio is, right? So our starting ratio, well, I gave it to us up here, didn't I? I drew out the tablespoons. So I drew 7, and then I also did 3 cups. So it's not 7, sorry, 5. It's 5 and 3 cups of salsa, okay? So now I'm going to do bowl 2. I'm going to set bowl 2 up into a same thing. Hot sauce by tablespoon and salsa by cup. Okay. And the same thing, bowl 2. I gave us our starting ratio, didn't I? And our starting ratio is 7 to 4. Okay, I'm going to autofocus again. Sometimes when I move the paper, it goes out of focus. All right, that's much better. All right, so now, y'all, this is crazy, okay? So there's a couple ways we can do this, but I really want to show you this way because we get to use something that we used a few weeks back. And so remember how I told you that like a lot of the math, we don't just like leave it when we're done. Once we test on it, we're not done with it. We still use it. We keep using it. So we're going to use LCM to help us solve this. Isn't that awesome that we're going to use something that we've already learned and bring it to our new lesson? Okay, LCM. This is good. Ready? All we need to do is look at the bottom number. Remember, that's kind of like our denominator because ratios are fractions, aren't they? So if I look at my denominator, I'm looking for my LCM, or we call it with fractions LCD, least common denominator. But between 3 and 12, I know what my LCM is. I'm wondering, do you guys know what the LCM is? If I look at 3 and 4, my LCM is 12, okay? So the LCM of 3 and 4 is 12. And now I have to figure out, how do I get from 3, because I want to put a 12 here. How do I get from 3 to 12? I multiply times 4. And if I do it on the bottom, I do it on the top. So 5 times 4 is 20. All right, that's pretty easy, right? Okay, same thing on the other side. How do I get from 4 to 12? I multiply times 3. And if I do it on the bottom, I do it on the top. So times 3. And I've got 21. Okay, so now this makes it very easy to figure out which bowl is hotter, because now I've converted my recipe to a much bigger recipe. This would be like if I was cooking it multiple times, if I was making it multiple times. So now my recipe would have 12 cups of salsa and 20 tablespoons of hot sauce. But for bowl 2, my recipe would have 12 cups of salsa and 21 cups of hot sauce. So when you look at that, you should be able to tell which one is actually the hotter recipe. Hopefully you're seeing it. Well, if they both have the same amount of salsa in the bottom cups, but this one has 1 more tablespoon of hot sauce. So it is going to be just a smidgen spicier. So my answer is bowl 2. That's the bowl I'ma eat. Okay, we're going to take a look at another way of using comparing ratios so that we can take a look and see another way to solve it. Because remember I said there was a couple of ways we could have solved this, but I wanted to show you the way with the LCM. So this time we're going to solve another word problem, and we're going to do it a little differently, okay? So for number 2, we're going to talk about dog food. And I'm just going to draw a line right here so that we know it's a second problem, okay? Normally I write examples, but I forgot. All right, so dog food. I have 1 bag of dog food. And it is 20 pounds. And that 20-pound bag of dog food costs $17.20. And then I have another bag of dog food. It's bigger. Okay. It's 30 pounds. And it costs $25.20. Okay. So now my question. Which one is the better buy? Which bag is a better buy? And I spelled that wrong. It's B-U-Y. Sorry. All right, so which bag is a better buy? Okay, guys, I know I said we're going to solve it a different way, but we're still going to use our ratio table, so get in the habit of using those ratio tables. Okay, we're going to set up our ratio table. And this time, we are going to use unit rate, okay? Instead of using the LCM, we're going to use unit rate, okay? And so, since we're looking for unit rate, what we want to know is if 20 pounds costs $17.20, we want to know how much will 1 pound cost. So if we're talking about 1 pound, that means we're talking about the dog food on the bottom. So I'm going to put dog food, DF, pounds, and money on top. Okay? And remember, our starting ratio over here was 17.20 to 20 pounds. And we said we're going to try and find unit rate, so that means I have to put a 1 over here because I'm looking for how much 1 pound will cost. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. I'm going to go ahead and set it up, okay? So, because I already have it on my brain, so I might as well set it up now. Dog food, by the pounds. This bag is 30 pounds, and it costs $25.20. And again, I'm trying to find out how much 1 pound costs. Okay? Now, here's the deal. Remember, I told you in last week's lessons, I told you that you can use your calculator. I don't have my scientific calculator because they, for some reason, only gave me enough to hand out to you guys. Usually they give me one, but I have a calculator and it'll work just fine, okay? All right, so you are allowed to use your calculator for these. You just have to be very careful and make sure that you're paying attention. So in order to get, let's look at bag number 1. In order to get from 20 pounds to 1 pound, I'm going to divide 20 by 20, right? Because 20 divided by 20 gives me 1. There's no other number that's going to work for that. So it's 20 divided, divided by 20 gives me 1. And if I do it on the bottom, then that means I do it on the top. So now I have to divide 1720 by 20. But that's not, I can't do that off the top of my head. Are you crazy? No. Okay, so I have to use a calculator. So 17.20 divided by 20. Oops, I didn't have it on. 17.20 divided by 20 equals, hopefully, that's what you get when you put it into the calculator. 86 cents. Okay, so each bag cost, you have to put that decimal, 0.86 because that means 86 cents. Okay? All right, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. How do I get from 30 to 1? There's only one way to do it because we're going to 1, so it's divided by 30. If I do it on the bottom, do it on the top. And I have to do 25.20 divided by 30. And when I do that, I get 0.84. So if this was bag 1, and this was bag 2. Which bag is the better buy? Well, if you're paying for something, wouldn't you rather pay 84 cents than 86 cents when you want to pay less? So my answer is bag 2 is the better buy. Okay. Hopefully this is all making sense for you. If it's not, I'm not really sure what more to tell you. But tomorrow we'll be doing a little practice with word problems and stuff. So make sure you come to the live lesson. There will be no video tomorrow. You must come to the live lesson tomorrow to get the help on the word problems. If you don't come, then that's okay. You're just going to have to do your word problems independently without us all helping you, okay? So if you want to get some practice with word problems with the teacher, then you need to come to my live lesson tomorrow. Alrighty guys, I will see you later.